God bless you and welcome once again to VisionCast. We are so excited to be with you today. We have a great topic that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about discipleship. That's one of my favorite topics. And I thank God for Doreen. She's one of my number one disciples. Aren't you?
Yeah. You've always taught us that your family, your children, are your number one disciples.
Right, because they see your example. They live with you. They see you from they get up in the morning till they go to sleep at night. And one of the most important things in discipleship is exampleship. Not so much what you teach, but what you live. That is true discipleship. And you bring the disciples close so they can see you. And then you could tell them, follow me as I follow Christ. That's true discipleship.
And you know, they don't care so much about what you know, but they care about you caring for them and how you make them feel. Don't you think that's a real key thing, is love, true, genuine concern, compassion, and love. And that's something that you never can fake. It's either there or it's not there, huh? The compassion.
But believing in them, you know, really believing that there's potential there. Even in the least of them, like they think they're the least of them. But you could see potential in people and you just dig in and bring it out. It's the most beautiful and satisfying experience. I've had many experiences with discipleship, and I thank God for all the women that I've been personally involved with and seeing them grow and become great women of God. And that's what you could do too. We could all be participants in discipleship and raising up women of God.
I think one of the things you taught me early on was that you don't just have one level of disciple. There's different levels. There's a new convert, there's your disciple, there's your ones that are leaders and a different level of leadership, and even pastors' wives, and how you disciple on all these tracks. And you shared with me one time that that is so beneficial to every woman leader to have all these types of disciples in their lives. Why is that?
Because you're in touch with those that are really in need, and you want to teach them, and it just gives you life, because you're investing in someone that maybe doesn't even really know Christ the way you know him, and you're teaching them the basics, and then you come and you're with someone that's seasoned, still needs discipleship, still needs influence. So it keeps you on the edge, it keeps you, you know, really effective when you're working with someone that doesn't know that much. It's just so exciting. I can remember when I was working.
I think it keeps you sharp.
Yeah, when I was working with the prisoners that came out of prison, the lifers. I worked with them for like 7 years, and I started with 2 girls, and before you know it, I had like 22 girls coming, and they had been in prisons for so long, and I was able to get to know them first of all, win their trust, and then invest in them. So it was a very exciting time in my life.
Yeah, and I love this scripture in Matthew 9:36, and it's the Message translation. It says, Jesus said, when he looked out over the crowds, his heart broke. So confused and aimless they were, like sheep with no shepherd. What a large harvest, he said to his disciples. How few workers. He said, on your knees and pray for harvest hands. I love that translation because it's all out of love, it's all out of seeing the need, and it's all out about putting your hands to the plow to help people grow and help people change.
And we could all be used. Everyone that's watching right now, you can be used. We're all called to disciple, not just me and Doreen, not just a pastor's wife, not just a leader, you. And if you have children, you could start with your children. But we could all be used to disciple someone, invest in someone so that they may know Christ, that they may have a real deep experience with the Lord. And we're not, I mean, it's one of the most exciting things that we do, right?
Oh, yeah. Working with people is such a reward because you see them not only get saved, but you see them become disciples. You see them find their place in the kingdom of God, you finding their gifts. And you see them rise up and become disciplers themselves and become leaders and even leaders of leaders. And that's the rewards of discipleship, is to see them become who God wants them to be.
Really. And I have some keys to knowing if you're called of God to lead. Now, take note right now, because I think this pertains to all of you that are watching right now. And number one, there's a sense of knowing that you're called. There's a sense of knowing, yes, I'm called to do something for God. And we're all called to do something for God. We're all called to disciple. It's not just for you and I, it's for those that are watching. Everyone should be an influence. Everyone should be an example. Every one of us should take note and be an example to someone else and work with them. A sense of knowing that you are called. Number two, a sense of divine selection for the task. You have to know that you're divinely selected for the task. When did you know you were divinely selected for the task?
Right away. Because I remember that when we read Matthew 28:19 and 20, you can't help but feel compelled, because it's a command. It's not a suggestion, but it's a command. And when you love God and you surrender your life to God, you begin to have such a genuine love for people. It's the heart of God that he gives us. And then you start to read, like, it's a command. It's a command that he gives us. Mm-hmm. And I remember I felt that call of God to disciple. But I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was really, really scared, because you feel like you have to be on this level to disciple. But then I remember you told me one day, you said, you just have to be one step ahead.
Just what? But you have to be ahead, at least one step ahead of your disciple. If they pray half hour, you got to pray 35 minutes. You've got to be ahead so that you can lead. And then thirdly, there's an undeniable inclination. You're eager to lead. Mm-hmm. Like, I love what I do. I absolutely love it. There's an undeniable inclination that I'm called of God. And I don't think I'm anything special or anything, but I love what I do. Mm-hmm. And you do too.
Oh, yeah. I love the ministry. I think there's such a joy in the ministry that we get to do what we do for the Lord. We get to help people. We get to see people grow, develop. We grow.
And then fourthly, there's a mind of a leader. You leaders perceive and think differently. You see a situation, and you look at a solution for the situation. You want to lead people. You want to lead in the ministry. Mm-hmm. It's something very, very special. I know that when God called me, I didn't think I had that much to offer, but then I gave myself to the Lord, and I started thinking differently. Mm-hmm. And then fifthly, there's a discernible influence. A true leader is one that bears the fruit of effective leadership. A discernible influence. You have a discernible influence. Mm-hmm. Sixthly, you enjoy the company of leaders and other disciplers. I love being with other people that feel like I do about people, about discipleship. Don't you just love the company of those that love the ministry, that love working with people?
Yeah. You have a camaraderie, you have a connection, you have a lot in common, and that brings you together, and you can even learn from each other. You talk about what you're doing, you inspire one another. I think that there's such a camaraderie that we come together with like-minded and like-hearted, and we all feel like ministry is the greatest thing in life. We know that we are called of God, no matter what walk of life you come from. We all are called of God, and we're all challenged to be a witness, to raise up disciples. And when you commit yourself, it's like you take hold of the responsibility that if it's going to be, it's up to me. Like, God has called me, and I have to answer the call of God upon my life. And then there's a sense of responsibility that you feel that challenges you to step out. I think that's what happened for me. It was like I was afraid, but the responsibility that people's lives, God wanted me to help people. God wanted to use me to help develop others. And the responsibility that I accepted kind of compelled me in a way where I just took ownership and said, I want to do the will of God. I want to help people. I want to disciple people. And I feel like for me, that was a big turning point where the generations to come, if the Joshua generation doesn't accept the responsibility to disciple, then we're not bridging. We're not being that bridge that God's called us to be. And so discipleship for me was really that, is that knowing that, not only is it a call of God, but it's also accepting the call of God,
Yes.
surrendering to it.
And then there's also external affirmation. When you receive affirmation from other people, like, you may not realize that you're affecting people, but then when you start hearing, oh, you blessed my life, Doreen, what you said really blessed me. And that's affirmation, that you're on the right track, that you are influencing people, that you are helping people when you have external affirmation. Then also, there's an internal strength that God gives. And God's leaders always have great courage. You have to have great courage because you're going to go through stuff. You're going to go through all kinds of persecution. You're going to go through all kinds of trials because it's not easy sometimes. Working with people, some of the women that we work with,
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. They are too much sometimes. They don't know how to be loyal. They don't know how to be faithful. You have to teach them all these things, And they don't even know how to be a mother, some of them. You have to teach them even how to be a mother. You wouldn't think that they would need to learn that, but they do. And we teach them all these things, and mainly by exampleship. You don't just teach them and preach to them, but you bring them in close and let them see how you are a mother, how you handle things, and then they are influenced by your discipleship. Yes. And you tell them, follow me as I follow Christ. That's so important, to be that example to someone you're discipling. So I thank God for that.
Yeah, and you are a tremendous example. You really are. You've been for all of us these many years. I believe that's why we're all here too, your exampleship in our life of a praying mom, a wife to dad. And I know that it hasn't been easy all these many years.
No, it hasn't been easy.
But thank God you've been faithful to the vision, faithful to dad. And I really, truly appreciate that because exampleship is the key. They read our lives like a book, everyone.
Yeah. I count it a big privilege that God has called me. I don't feel worthy of the calling. I always thank him. And every time I thank him, I almost break before his presence because he's been so faithful to his word. And when he called me, all I had to do was say yes. I didn't have that much to offer, but I said yes. And then he took my life and began to lead my life. So that's what you could do too. Just put your life in God's hands and let him begin to use your life.
Yeah, and I was just thinking when you were saying earlier about how sometimes you feel inadequate, I remember the first time that I chose to disciple, the very first disciple, because you said that they'll get affirmation. They'll come to you, right? Want to learn from you. God will bring them your way. And I remember it was one of the young girls that came to me and said, I really want you to disciple me. And I remember went to you and I said, that's when I had told you, I said, I don't feel like I know enough. I don't even know where to start. And you had told me stay just one step ahead. And you told me just be simple, be yourself, read, pray with them. And I remember she came over my house and I was just so nervous. And I was but the courage, you had said earlier, the courage. And I stepped out of my comfort zone and I just began to pray with her, read with her. And I remember after that, she was so grateful. She says, thank you. And she wanted to come back, and then others started coming, and I began to see that God was using me, and then more came. And I think that what you said is so true, the affirmation, knowing that not only are you stepping out, but you're able to see God use your life. And people begin to respond to your leadership.
That is so precious. And this is happening not only here, but all over the world. It's happening. That the girls are discipling women and the works are growing. Like in South Africa, it's just so amazing to see the way God is using Chica and all the girls over there in South Africa. And also in Latin America, the way he's using Jessica and using all these women down there and working with people. And it all happens because you have given. You have given your finances to help us reach out and disciple others. Right, Doreen?
Oh, yeah. And, United We Can is the way to give for others to be saved. Not just locally in your community, but all over the world. It's expanding and enlarging the vision of Victory Outreach. And so, you can give to United We Can even right now. You can give to help others all over the world be saved. And there's 3 ways to give. You can see it on your screen. You can push text to give. You can also give in an envelope. You can give online at victoryoutreach.org. You can scan to give and I'll give you a minute to take a picture. Well, not actually a picture. You just put your phone to that. You open up your camera, and you can scan to give right now. Whatever which way you want to give, we encourage you. Give so that others can be saved, and we can make an impact all over the world.
Generosity made simple. Text VOI to 77977. Select the giving link. Enter your amount and gift type. If it's your first time giving, enter your payment details and confirm your gift. Thank you for your generosity. Now we can stay connected wherever you go. Download the Victory Outreach app and stay connected with Victory Outreach International. Get important updates and announcements. Learn more about our ministries. Stay connected with events, prayer requests, and more. Watch the latest video in our media section. Easily share content on social media within the app. Give from your phone in seconds. A convenient way to stay connected.
Well, it's really exciting once again to be with you. And today we have a special, special guest. She is one of my spiritual daughters, and this is Gina Torres. She's a great discipler.
Yes.
That's why we have her on, because she is run with discipleship. God bless you, Gina.
Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you today.
Here.
It's been so good knowing you and meeting you. I met you when you were like 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't even married yet. And then the Lord put her together with Ray Torres, and wow, you gave a beautiful daughter too. 2 daughters.
I have 3 daughters.
3 daughters. Oh
Yes,
my God.
and 1 son.
Yeah,
Yes.
and 1 son. And they're also involved in ministry.
Yes.
It's been so awesome. So what have you been doing lately?
Well, lately I've just come back from Atlanta, Georgia. I was there for 14 months. Came back to my church, the mother church there in Chino, and right there beside Sister Kim, I just want to help build, and we're helping with women there and women's ministry, and I just count it a privilege. I feel like this is our responsibility to disciple. I love this topic also. I was sitting back there just saying yes, amen to everything, because this is something that we're called to do, is to disciple women. And I asked the Lord years ago, like, how can I express my love to you? And he said, love people. And that's what I've been doing, and following my examples.
Yeah, I remember when we first started, you and I working together, and we had a class called Believing for a Miracle.
Yes.
I was going to do it for 6 weeks, and those weeks just kept going and going and going. And then I did it for like a year, and then Gina took it over, Believing for a Miracle. What it consisted of working with women that had unsaved husbands.
Yes.
And that was so difficult, huh?
Yes.
Because teaching them how to win their husbands to the Lord and being an example to them.
Yes.
That's what we told them. Just be an example. Cook for them. Don't preach to them. Just cook for them. Love them. Be an example to them. And many of their husbands gave their lives to the Lord after that class.
Yes, they did.
That was awesome.
It was great. It was so good. We ended up having 4 support life groups out of that, and just I was able to go to their houses, and the husbands opened the door for me and welcomed me in there, and just to see what God was doing in their lives, it was great. That was really a scene.
It's awesome. And then also your children. You were able to disciple and work with your
They
children.
were my first disciples, yes. You've been a great example to me, and I did the same thing, just what you did, I've done.
Yes.
You know, and I have 3 daughters. One is delivered from drugs, but a great mom now. She's been doing a great job. I also have Stacy. She's a pioneering a church in West Valley. And then I have Raylene, that's a home director at the Chino Church. And I have a son that he's a worshiper, and he's a great father and a great husband. And I'm just so blessed. Something that Sister Julie's taught us, that let our walk be louder than our talk. And that's what I've tried to do all my life.
Oh, and to see them all serving the Lord, it's so
Yes.
precious.
Yes.
And Raylene, I know her real good.
Yes.
And now she's running the home and discipling so many young women.
Yes.
So powerful to see
Yes.
that. And then one of the girls that's been involved in your life is Myra Walker. We have
Yes.
her on Skype right now. We have her on Zoom. What do we have her on? We have her on something. And she's going to join us right now.
she is.
There you are, Myra. God bless you, Myra.
God bless you, everyone. It's great to see you. Thanks for having me on the program.
It's been so good to be working with women, and you have some great disciples. We're thinking about who we could have on, and we said, who has good disciples? And we thought of Myra.
Yes, we did.
You have Jessica. Who else?
She has several. She has Rose,
Rosa?
Rosa. Yes, you have a lot.
In Panama?
Maritza.
Maritza?
Yes.
Those three shine for me. Those three disciples. If it was just those three, it would be worth it all.
And all over the Gulf, I believe, in different regions, you have pastors' wives that you've discipled.
And why do you think you've been so effective? Give me some keys to why you've been effective in working with women.
Hands down, because of Gina and yourself, Sister Julie. Everything you trained her to do, she taught
can't
me to
hear her.
do. And
said
I'm just
Gina.
so blessed
And
and
you-
privileged
Yes.
to have had great training through the years. And then that training, I was able to offer it. You know, it's not hard. All we got to do is teach them how to love God, fear God, and serve people.
You know, we're going to be having a women's convention real soon.
Yes, we're super excited about that.
We've been going back into the archives and listening to the old messages, and you know, the messages are the same that they were back then, they are now.
Yes.
Maybe they got a little bit better in their speaking now, but the message was the same about working with women, discipling women. And we talked about the 3 C's, and we talked about our mission statement, all these things that we instilled in women. And I think that was very key to building women's ministries.
Yes. And right now, in this pandemic, I know you're still discipling. What are some ways we could still be effective and still be intentional in our discipleship? I know one thing you're doing that I love online. You're doing a couple of things. Can you share with us?
Sure, I'd love to. Actually, COVID made me more creative than ever because we don't want to lose the discipleship, mode. And one of the biggest things that we're real blessed behind is the sisterhood page. It's called hashtag the sisterhood on Facebook. And that page was created. God showed me in prayer one day that the women needed to come together, and we needed to create a space for them to be encouraged, for them to be, lifted up so they can do the work of ministry. And I kid you not, I thought we were going to have 100 members in 1 month. We had 100 overnight. In 4 days, we had 600 members. In
that's
1
awesome.
week, 1,000 members. And right now, we just passed the 4,000 member mark. And I love how
Oh my God, that's incredible.
our purpose was to unite the women, to encourage them, but they also share some very deep prayer requests, very deep. And through that, the women have built, such a strong camaraderie where they really get in touch with each other and have built relationships even off the page. We're also able to share ministry announcements and promote events on that page. So that's been very successful. And another thing as well has been our book club. And I'll tell you, the book club has really transformed our women. We've had some heavy books that we've introduced, and we just challenge them, to read 1 to 2 chapters per week. And then on Saturdays, I share a devotion and we open it up for discussion. And that has brought a lot of transformation. But with the spiritual, we also wanted to do something practical. So we started another page called VO Foodies. And actually, it was so the women can learn how to cook, and the actual name was VO Can Cook. And I was excited about it, but nobody was cooking. So we changed to VO Foodies so they can take pictures of whatever foods they're eating and post them. Now, the reason why I did that is because God gave me a heart, a vision to bring women back into the kitchen, to bring women back to the table, because it really builds up family, but it makes for great discipleships.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ladies have, you've been to Chicago, we are not pretzel and soda kind of gals. We kill the fatted calf almost every day. And then, it's just so beautiful what's taking place. And what we're about to launch is Girls in the Hood. And it sounds really crazy, the name, but through that, we're going to try to bring in the old level trainings into these 4 categories. And it's sisterhood, servanthood, womanhood, and motherhood. And we're going to bring topics, write up topics under each and introduce them to the women. And I've been talking about it for a while, so they're super excited about that. And but I think the latest vision that I'm super excited about is to start our own YouTube channel. And through that, we're going to create ministry training for the women, different topics. And so we're going to do the spiritual, but also the practical. And if you remember the hospitality classes that we've had at convention, through the YouTube videos, we're able to teach them how to set a table, how to serve a plate, how to take care of your husband, how to be the best mom to toddlers, so we're very excited. And you know what? COVID does not stop anybody. It should not stop us. If anything, it should stir us up because we have all this time to ourselves. And I think that through that, it has really stirred up, something new, a new fire, a new vision in me to really pour into the lives of women. And, to me, there's no greater privilege than training up godly women for the kingdom of God and then releasing them. And we've been, very blessed, very fortunate that God's hand has been upon us as far as being a sending church. And I see Jessica and Rosa and Maritza that just came back. We have Sade helping a new plant in Jacksonville, Florida. Oladir just came back from Africa, so we're very blessed. And, Jessica, Sister Julie, I know she's very near and dear to your heart. She alone has served in 3 different continents. So God is really using her mightily. Actually, I think it's 4 different continents. And but we're very blessed as far as what's taking place, And again, we couldn't have done any of it unless, Sister Julie, you modeled it. All those conventions, all those retreats, challenging us to be women of God that pray, that seek the face of God. Because if we don't fall in love with God, what do we have to offer women? What example can we actually offer them? So whatever we teach, whatever we train is from the heart. It's an outflow of everything that you've put into us. And you as well, Gina. Sister Julie, I've always called Gina the perfect pastor's wife. I've never even seen her getting mad. And what's beautiful that I learned from her that influenced me, right from the beginning, was that she modeled it. And she definitely modeled everything. And as far as being a godly woman, a woman of integrity, a woman of virtue. And through that Christian character, she also loved me unconditionally. And I came in such a broken young girl. When I came to the Lord, I was on the verge of suicide, on the verge of divorce. I was only 21 years old, losing my mind. And when I came to the church, Gina loved me unconditionally, and she believed in me. She walked me through my healing by teaching me how to love the Lord and teaching me how to go through the scriptures. And I remember that she used to have Wednesday prayer meetings. She used to have retreats, all-night prayer meetings. She used to have heart-to-heart discipleships. In other words, she always provided something for us. And there was always an investment being made. So I can say that I came to Chicago. I mean, I don't have it all together, but I was well trained by both of you, by what I've seen and what has been offered. And I think that in our kind of ministry, you know what? Everything is there. We have to take advantage of all the opportunities. We have to take advantage of all of the training because it pays off when we can deposit all that into another soul. And to see another sister rising up and training others, to me, that's the best reward.
And that's what we're talking about right now. It's a multiplication.
Yes.
I worked with Gina and Doreen, of course, and then you in turn work with Myra. Myra in turn worked with all the girls that we're mentioning right now. And it's all a multiplication. That's what God wants to do.
Yeah, that's the plan of God.
I want to thank you, Myra, for being with us today. We almost have to close, but I thank God for what you're doing, and may God continue to use you.
Yes.
Yeah, inspirational.
I love you.
Love your passion.
Wow.
And also, we're going to be, before we leave, I wanted to make an announcement that we're having our women's convention, and I want to go to that promo right now. And when we come back, we're going to close, but I thank God for women's convention coming up real soon.
Exciting.
Amen.
I have a very special announcement for you, United Women Ministry and Gang Girls. We're going to be having a convention, and it's going to take place Monday night, September 7th, through Friday, September 11th. We're going to all come together and hear special speakers. It's going to be so awesome. I pray you're going to mark your calendars. You're going to call your friends, tell them to mark their calendars. We're going to see you there. So mark your calendar. Don't forget, it's going to be coming up in September. And we're going to be going into the archives. And we're going to be able to hear messages that are, some of them were like 20 years ago.
1990s.
25 years ago. We all looked different. Our hair looked different. Some of us were a little chubbier then, or we looked different. But we're going to be able to hear the messages. They're powerful, powerful messages that we have in the archives. So I want to make sure that you mark your calendar. September 7th it begins to September 11th.
And I just want to make mention that next week you want to tune in because we're going to be talking about how to disciple and how you can be an intentional discipler and also the profile of a good disciple. You say you want to be discipled, and where do you go? What do you do? So make sure you spread the word because next week is going to be a lot of tools to help you become not only a disciple, but a better discipler, and a leader. And Gina is a tremendous woman of God. I thank you so much for who you are, for all your years of faithfulness to God and to the ministry. And I just love the way you live. You know, like you asked her, Atlanta, I want to send you, and not even a moment. Yes and amen.
Yes.
She's like a soldier.
I remember that day that we were talking about the girls in Atlanta, that they just needed a little mother image there. And we asked Gina, can you go to Atlanta for a year? Just give of yourself for a year. Just live with them for a year and be with them. And she obeyed. She says, I'm a soldier in this army. And she took off and was there for a year. And still has a relationships with the girls, right?
Yes, I do.
And what kind of an experience did you have there?
I had a life-changing experience. It was beautiful. I met some nice ladies, some great ladies, miracles. They were miracles. And I just did what you do, spend time with them, went to shopping with them, went to their home, fellowship with them. And every opportunity I had, I just invested in their lives. And they're still part of my life. I talk to them about weekly. I talk to one of them, Elise, and we meet together on Zoom. And I'm just excited that I've just counted a privilege that I had the opportunity. In my older age now, I had the opportunity to go and invest in women.
At her older age, she looks so young.
She's beautiful. you know what's interesting is that I just, I want to make mention that her church, her original church in Compton.
Oh, that's right.
Is the church that I have the privilege to pastor, pastor's wife, where you were pastor's wife. All these many years later, your church, it continues. It continues.
There's a connection.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's so beautiful.
Originated in Compton.
That's so beautiful.
Oh, that's
Yeah, bringing that up, it reminds me of God's faithfulness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, beautiful. Oh, well, we can continue with this topic, we're all touched here. And I pray that God will bless you and God will use you. That's the whole purpose of us being here today, is to inspire you to get involved in working with people. Get involved in discipling women. Get involved in discipling, first of all, your family, your children. Being an example to them and loving them. And let the love of God flow through you. That's the most important thing, the exampleship. And then you could also teach the Word of God. Teach them how to pray. Teach them how to get a hold of our Lord. But I pray that you've been blessed today, and I pray you'll be with us again next week. God bless you.
Thank you for tuning in today to our live broadcast. You too can also be part of giving right there where you're at, whether you're watching at home or on the go, simply by clicking on the link in the description below or through our Victory Outreach International app. Let's take a look at how easy it is to give.
Generosity made simple. Text VOI to 77977. Select the giving link. Enter your amount and gift type. If it's your first time giving, enter your payment details and confirm your gift. Thank you for your generosity. Now we can stay connected wherever you go. Download the Victory Outreach app and stay connected with Victory Outreach International. Get important updates and announcements. Learn more about our ministries. Stay connected with events, prayer requests, and more. Watch the latest video in our media section. Easily share content on social media within the app. Give from your phone in seconds. A convenient way to stay connected.